pies.
Steve, here he comes. Take that, sir. Behold, a grown man weeping like...
That was your plan? Are you crying?
Yes, I'm crying. He hit me with a chair.
What's up, guys? Nathan Burnett, episode 79. Lots of playoff stuff has been going on. Excited to talk about. Just some stuff to announce before the episode starts. Got to get it out of the way right at the beginning. Merch out. Go cop that. I'm wearing the hoodie as always. I've worn it multiple times so you guys can see it has not faded through several washes, everything like that. But I know it's getting a bit hotter this time of year. And so we are actually having a discount over on short sleeves, so you guys can go check that out. The Instagram, the discount code is posted over on my Instagram, so you guys can go check that out. It is InstaG 25, I believe. I'll put it up on screen, but I believe it's InstaG 25 for Instagram 2025. So go check that out. We got some cool designs on there. This, again, is the hoodie with the Japanese on it, but we have some short sleeves with the Japanese on the front, all that good stuff. So go check that out. But I shouldn't have any more announcements. Game 3s of the first series have been played. I'm recording this on the night of the Rockets-Warriors game on April 27th, so by the time I post this, some things may have changed, but let's just go ahead and get into it. So, getting the simpler series out the way that me and several other people don't really have much to say about, because it's as simple as it gets. The Thunder sweeping the Grizzlies, not really much to say there. Not a great idea, as I've said before, to fire your coach a couple months before the playoffs. I mean, it's that simple. The coach has to get adjusted to the team and vice versa, and that's not going to happen in a month, especially to get you guys playoff ready. With that said as well, regardless of if the coach and the players are ready, it's also the number 1 seeded Thunder team. So I don't really think there was much that the Grizzlies could do there. And I think all of us saw that the Grizzlies were going to be swept. So not really any surprises there. And yeah, Jaw's fine in the West, as they say. Magic versus Celtics. I think the Celtics are going to win in 5, maybe 6, probably 5. I said in my playoff predictions video that the Magic were going to not roll over and get swept, though, which seems to be accurate. I know a lot of people are debating now about things like refs, things like the Magic being too physical, starting to turn it into a boxing match, things like that. And I'm not going to comment too much on that because to me it's the playoffs. It's meant to be physical. I know Jalen Green was like, oh, if you want to fight for the playoffs, then let's just stop all this nonsense and have an actual boxing match. And I saw a lot of people commenting on the silliness of that, where Jalen Brown's trying to act like a tough guy and he's not really a tough guy. But I do think that the Magic can pull off maybe one more game. Maybe the Celtics win in 6. And again, I think that just lines up with what I said with the Magic are not going to take things lying down. And even if the Celtics win, which they obviously will, whether it's in 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever, the way the Magic are playing, even with the Magic losing, it's going to tire the Celtics out. And that's going to play into the benefit of other teams like the Cavs and these other big Eastern Conference teams that have to go up against the Celtics. So the Celtics are going to be tired, and that's going to hinder them a bit in the later rounds. So with that, there's also the Cavs Heat, which isn't too surprising. I do want to touch on that one later, even though it does look like it's going to be a sweep, because I have a whole rant prepared for the Cavaliers. But let's go into some of these other series, which is on the West. And as I said in my earlier episodes, it really seems that each series has their own level of excitement, and everyone is kind of watching the West, which is to be expected. So with the Nuggets versus Clippers, I predicted that Jokić was going to get tired and frustrated with his team, and it seems that's exactly what's happening. There was that one clip that has gone viral now of the Clippers beating the Nuggets 117-83, and Jokić is on the bench screaming at his team. And that's exactly how I predicted it, basically. I did a whole video about how the Nuggets are letting Jokić down, and that is exactly the case. Jokić, yes, he's one of the greatest players right now, but the rest of his team just can't keep up, and it's expending Jokic's energy. And we're seeing that, and I said that it was going to result in a similar outcome as the Timberwolves Nuggets last year, where the Timberwolves just have way more energy. They're a bit of a younger team, and they can just out-tire the other team. And the Clippers are doing the same thing. Even though the Clippers are older, they have Kawhi, they have Harden, these older players, but they're still being able to play as a team and sort of out-tire Jokić and the Nuggets. And that also is aligned to how they're playing. So the Nuggets are really good at scoring off turnovers, scoring off fast breaks, things like that. But the Clippers are taking that to their advantage and sort of playing aggressive on defense, and sort of drawing things out, right? They're playing good defense, and that's causing Jokić and the Nuggets to sort of take more time on their possessions and sort of plan out and dribble out their possessions, which is tiring them longer. Rather than just running straight to the basket, pull-up jumper to score, or running to dunk it, whatever the case is, they're having to actually dribble out and play out the possession with the shot clock running down, and that is tiring them even more. And I said that was going to be a huge part of this playoff series, was that the Clippers have better defense. And, of course, Kawhi's healthy now. Kawhi is a huge defensive player. Kawhi was able to defend LeBron back in his day of 2014, 2016, all of that. And I've seen a lot of people make jokes about that, saying we're seeing 2019 Kawhi again. And I am inclined to agree with that. He's pulling up from mid-range. He's pulling up from everywhere. He's showing that he is the two-way player that he is. And Kawhi's scoring really well. Harden as well, I give a lot of crap to Harden. I have for years, because I just simply don't like him jumping from team to team. But he's shooting above 30% from three. He's starting to get closer into that Houston Harden vibes of being a decent shooter. But again, I think it relies more on the defense, where the defense is tiring the Nuggets out, tiring Jokić out, and Jokić simply cannot carry that weight for that long. I know that the Nuggets, as of now, are up 2-1 again, but these last few games have been really close. I think the last game was like 101-99, so only a 2-point win. And game one was like that as well. It was an overtime win, and it was only by like 2 points. So I think that the Clippers, again, can sort of tire Jokić and them out to get over that 2-point hump and take the rest of the series in probably 7 by just playing better defense. And let's see what other notes I have here. they fixed their turnover issue. They were having turnovers in the earlier games. Again, Nuggets really good at scoring off of turnovers, scoring off of fast breaks. So the Clippers worked on that issue. And again, they're being aggressive on defense. I watched, I think it was game 2, and Zubac was actually really good at defending Jokić. And as crazy as it sounds to say, with Jokić, again, being one of the greatest players, I felt like it was a really good matchup. They're around each other's height from what I saw. And they're, like, Zubac is getting the rebounds. He's putting contest on Jokic's shots, and it's working out really well. And Kawhi and everybody else is able to guard Jamal Murray, and it's been a really good defensive matchup, and I think that is going to continue. With the Timberwolves Lakers, another huge series that again is being talked about, I have the hot take that I've said before. I think the Timberwolves can take it in 7 as well, just like the Clippers. I think these two top teams of the Nuggets and the Lakers can be knocked out in the first round by these other teams, by the Clippers and the Timberwolves. And with the Timberwolves, they're taking advantage of them being a younger team, again, as I said. And the Lakers, even with getting Luka, again, are notorious for having one of the oldest teams. Players like Austin Reeves and, again, now Luka kind of average that out a bit more. But for a while, they were the oldest team in the league. And so because of that, and because Luka was the number one option on his former team, the Lakers are used to sort of playing at the half court, at the 3-point line, at the perimeter. And by extending out the possessions, it's doing the opposite of the Nuggets. With the Nuggets, I was saying, like, make them play as long as they have to, because then it's going to tire them out. It's the opposite for the Lakers. The Lakers, they're an older team, so the longer you take on a possession, the more they're sort of able to catch their breath, take it slow, everything like that. And so the Timberwolves switched it up on the Lakers. Rather than trying to shoot out from 3, which is, again, LeBron and Luka's comfort zone, they pushed through the paint. They were aggressive. They tried to get more fast break points, more through the paint points, more mid-range points, trying to get more inside the 3-point line, and that really worked in their favor. They were playing fast pace. They were pushing the pace. They were sort of controlling the tempo of the game, which really works against the Lakers with the way that those players are geared to play and their age. Of course, there was the sort of issue with Luka's stomach, which people have used as a defense against me when I say that the Timberwolves can win. They say, like, oh, this game was a fluke, Luka was sick, everything like that. But I think what I have to say still stands. I don't think, obviously, like, being sick can play, like, has an effect and is a factor, but I still think what I say holds weight. And I mean, it just means that Luka isn't Michael Jordan. Luka can't have a flu game. But what I said doesn't mean any less. I still think the Timberwolves are playing faster, they're playing more aggressive, and I really love to see that. The Lakers also, with trading AD, have no center. They have less defense. Luka has been notorious for not having as much defense. And so these Timberwolves players were able to take advantage of that, particularly Naz Reid, who was notorious versus the Nuggets, and Jaden McDaniels was able to score really well on Luka because, again, Luka was sick, and Luka, even without being sick, isn't that great of a defender. So Jaden McDaniels was able to just go off, and it was amazing to see. And I think if the Timberwolves can sort of keep that vibe, they can take the series in 7 games. I'm not going to say 6 because I don't think it's that crazy, but obviously Lakers in 5 has been shot down. It's now 2-1 Timberwolves, and I think that the Timberwolves can do it in 6. But we'll see what happens. With the Pistons and Knicks, I said that the Pistons were going to surprise some people. They won a playoff game. They're not taking it lying down, the same thing as the Magic. I think that the Knicks will eventually win the series, but I do think that the Pistons can take a few more games, and it'll be a competitive series. A lot of people expected the Knicks to just walk away with it because they're the Knicks and the Pistons are the Pistons. But if you look at the advanced stats, they're actually really evenly matched for each other. They're like right on top of each other on both offense and defensive rating for their teams, and they're really evenly matched. There was a huge controversy on the rotations, which there always is with Tibbs. Tibbs always gets complaints about his rotations, but the thing is because Tibbs is known to just play all of his starters to death and give them max minutes, and I think there was an issue where he wasn't playing his starters for a while in one of those games, and it kind of shook things up. But what I did notice watching the game and watching the highlights is with the teams being evenly matched, in instances like the Knicks 21-0 run and other instances of the Knicks scoring, it's really just a moment of the Knicks taking advantage of the Pistons' mistakes. The Knicks have been in the playoffs for the last few years, although being knocked out, and they sort of have that experience. And a lot of this Pistons roster is younger. They haven't been to the playoffs, obviously. They haven't won a championship since 2004, and these Pistons players are sort of getting more adjusted to the playoffs. And with that 21-0 run especially, I think with that lack of experience, they were sort of getting in their own head a lot because they were allowing messy, simple mistakes on defense, not paying attention to where the ball was going. Like, people were going behind other players' backs to score. Whenever the Pistons did have the ball, they were shooting bricks. They were putting up terrible shots that were hitting the rim, and then the Knicks would gain the possession back and rebound the ball and then go and continue that 21-0 run. And that sort of seems to be the theme, is that the Knicks are just taking advantage of these minor mistakes that can lead to points. And again, I think that comes with experience from the Pistons. But obviously the Pistons are in the playoffs now. They won a playoff game, so they're doing much, much better than they have the previous seasons. And I think that has to do with the coach that they have now. But they still need to work on sort of these minor mistakes, and that just comes through just being an experienced player. Again, like the Thompson twins, they were just drafted a year ago. This is their sophomore season, if I recall, which would mean that it's Cade Cunningham's junior season. And so they just sort of need to be more aware of where the ball is, aware of their surroundings, their court vision, things like that, to not make these simple mistakes. And and the Knicks took a big advantage of that. So with Pacers Bucks, I don't think the Bucks really have a chance, which is disheartening to say because I'm a big Giannis fan. I'm a fan of Giannis's story. I've mentioned it many times, but I made a joke about it last year, and I'll make the same joke this year. Once you hire Doc Rivers as your coach, you may as well just resign your team. And it sucks because, again, like Giannis, you can tell he's trying, but a lot of the rest of the team is struggling. Damian Lillard just coming back from injury, but I saw a comment that really summed things up, and it said the Pacers are the kryptonite for the Bucks. And what I took that to mean, and what I agree with, is the Pacers were probably the worst option for the Bucks to go against in this first series. Aside from the Cavaliers and the Celtics, I think the Bucks could have had a better chance against, obviously, the Magic and the Heat, which are lower seeds. But even the Knicks and the Pistons, I think the Bucks could have done better than they're doing against the Pacers. The Pacers just sort of have a strength to every one of the Bucks' weaknesses. The bench is able to compete against the Bucks bench, so the rotations, it's not like the Bucks can sub in their bench and sort of try and outscore the Pacers bench. They're both really evenly matched with their benches, but the Pacers are doing better on offense. The Pacers are doing better on defense. The Pacers are just doing better than them in every aspect of the game. And I think that had the Bucks gone against really any other team, they wouldn't have this big of a weakness. The Pacers and Bucks, the Bucks had a really bad turnover ratio compared to the Pacers. They had 15. I'm about to sneeze. I gotta mute my mic. Give me just 1 second. The Bucks had 15 turnovers compared to the Pacers' 8 turnovers. So again, really goes to show that the Bucks are making more mistakes. They're not being as efficient, as sort of fine-tuned as the Pacers are. And I don't know what that means for Giannis going forward. I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, Giannis is going to request a trade now. I don't know if we go that crazy because, I mean, every single year that the Bucks have lost the playoffs, people have said that. But again, it's just, I'm starting to not have faith in the Bucks, especially because of their coach. They traded away all of their defense with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Kyle Kuzma has not really been doing that well on the Bucks. And yeah, I don't see the Bucks making it past this round. And if they're having this much trouble with the Pacers, then they're certainly not making it past the second round. So I'm simply writing off the Bucks at this point. They kept themselves alive winning Game 3 because had they lost Game 3, it would have been a sweep. But I already think with it being 2-1, it's already over for the Bucks. Again, the Pacers are just so perfectly, like, in every category beating them, and the Bucks are having issues. The Rockets Warriors, I said before the series that the Rockets were also going to be a team that surprises people, like the Magics and the Pistons. The Rockets are keeping it competitive. And one thing that I love to see in these playoffs is that defense is sort of starting to come back. There have been several games, not just in the Rockets-Warriors series, but especially the Rockets-Warriors series, but also throughout these whole playoffs, that both teams, or at least one of the teams, have scored under 100. And I love seeing that. I've been a huge advocate that defense makes games more exciting than just pull-up 3 contest. And we're seeing that with the Warriors Rockets. 2 of the best defenses, especially in the playoffs, going up against each other. And so to have a 95 versus 85 game is amazing to see. And the reason that the Rockets won, aside from like Jimmy Butler getting injured and all this other stuff, is they're winning the rebound battle. They're winning that defensive battle. And the Warriors have been known for years to not really have a center, not really have any big man. I mean, that was sort of how Curry and the whole team started, was they went the whole small ball 3 route, and everybody said that doesn't win championships, you can't do it. and then they went and won multiple championships. But I think that is sort of catching up to them now, because the Rockets have players like Sengun. They have these more well-rounded big men that the Rockets are winning the rebounding battle, winning the blocks battle, winning the defensive battle, and that's that's allowing them to have more possessions versus the Warriors. They have sort of been working on their turnover ratio, things like that. But it's been really good to see. They've been keeping it competitive. The Curry's always going to be Curry. Draymond Green, I will also say, will always be Draymond Green, because he's been having his classic technical foul issues and all of his stuff going on. I saw a lot of people being nasty towards the Rockets, saying that the Rockets intentionally fouled Jimmy Butler and that it was a flagrant foul, all that. I don't really agree with that. Watching the replay several times, it seemed like the Rockets were kind of pushed into Jimmy Butler, and ironically, the Rockets player was pushed by Draymond Green as well. So there's plenty of jokes to be made there about the fact that Draymond Green is now not only injuring other teammates, but or other players, but also injuring his teammates now. So Draymond Green never changes. Maybe he's just not used to Jimmy Butler being on his team, and that's why he did it. But Draymond Green always has an issue with injuring people, and now it seems like it's gone to his own teammates. So he even like chased down a ref recently, I saw. So again, Draymond Green really has those anger issues that he's got to figure out. So, but with that said, I will end it off with the Cavaliers versus Heat. I know this is a bit of a shorter episode. When obviously these series wrap up, we'll have more to talk about, but I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging and wait until the first round was over to make an episode, because there was a lot to say in just these first few games. So these are just sort of my initial reactions to each series and each game. So hopefully I've been giving good takes and keeping you guys excited. But Cavaliers versus Heat. The Cavaliers, of course, I predict are going to sweep. That was no surprise. But I really want to talk about why. Because I did a whole video talking about how the Cavaliers are just sort of a cohesive team. They're working really well together, and that is leading to their success. I did a whole video on Kenny Atkinson and his coaching, and in that video, I talked a lot about the Spurs culture that Kenny Atkinson was a part of, and everything else. And again, the Cavaliers do really remind me of that 2014 Spurs look, playing really well as a team, doing well offensively, doing well defensively, and I really do think that the Cavaliers can take it all, especially if they sweep the Heat, because then they will have more time to rest, and they'll look really well against other teams. And the only opposition that they're going to have in the East is the Celtics, but I talked earlier that I feel like the Celtics are going to get way more tired faster, and the Cavaliers just all around are a really good unit that are doing so well, and I love to see it. They're gonna be the team that I continue to watch throughout the playoffs, the Cavaliers, because again, like, I'm a Spurs fan, and it reminds me of the Spurs that I grew up with, just because of the way they're moving the ball, the way they're playing their offense. They have a coach that cares about them. That clip has been going viral of Kenny Atkinson looking the coach right in the face and challenging the play. So I think they're doing really well. Them and the Rockets Warriors are going to be the teams that I watch the most, because I want to see if the Rockets can pull off a win against the Warriors, especially with Jimmy Butler being injured now. I'm also going to pay close attention to the Clippers Nuggets, because I want the Clippers to win with my prediction, and the Timberwolves Lakers, because it's always fun watching the Lakers lose. And if the Timberwolves win, I'll be able to say that I have really good predictions because everyone so far has been against me with that take. But everybody else was also saying Lakers in 5, and now the Timberwolves are up 2-1. So, but the Cavaliers, amazing unit, amazing team. And if you want more of my takes on that, I have a whole video out about it. But with that, I wanted to also lead that into the Evan Mobley winning Defensive Player of the Year. Evan Mobley won Defensive Player of the Year, and that was amazing for me because for two sort of reasons. Once again, Evan Mobley winning Defensive Player of the Year shows that the Cavaliers are doing really well, and I had a video a while back talking about the Cavaliers even before this season, talking about how the Cavaliers have a really well put together team. They're going to be a team that wins a lot of awards going on. And with that, I said that Evan Mobley can be a Defensive Player of the Year player. And him and the Cavaliers both aren't really getting the recognition they deserve. And so it's sort of seeing the fruition, the fruits come out of that prediction where again, it's something I predicted 3 years ago is coming true of Evan Mobley winning Defensive Player of the Year that I predicted, and the Cavaliers getting the recognition they deserve with being the number 1 seed and doing really well once they got the right coach. And of course, Wemby was injured. I'm aware of that, especially as a Spurs fan. I know that Wemby wins the award by a mile if Wemby was healthy, but at the same time, again, with Wemby removed, it just goes to show that Evan Mobley was the next runner-up for that Defensive Player of the Year. That, again, I said would happen years ago. I said Evan Mobley's playing really good defensively. He just needs to get his minutes, and if he gets his minutes, he wins Defensive Player of the Year. And now we're seeing that, and it finally happened. So I'm glad to see that some of the stuff that I predicted a while ago came true. And I'm hoping that continues. That's, again, why I have the Clippers and the Timberwolves. And I stand behind my takes. If they end up being wrong, of course, then I'll come on here and talk about them being wrong. I'm never going to backtrack and everything like that. But that was really cool for me to see. Because I, even though being a Spurs fan, I was sort of rooting for Evan Mobley and the Cavs these past few years because I've seen sort of, again, the output that they can have. And I was hoping that they succeed because I could see their ceiling, see their potential, and now we're finally getting that. And it's just really good basketball, and that's what we're all here for at the end of the day. It's just really good basketball, entertaining basketball, and it's amazing to see. Again, with somebody like me that loves defense as well. It's amazing to see Evan Mobley, the defensive player that he is, and yeah. Again, this episode a bit shorter. If my time is right, it's going to be around 40 minutes. So little less than an hour like I usually do, but these are just my initial reactions to the playoffs. So once the series ends, we'll touch back up on it and see what I got right, what I got wrong, what maybe some teams switched up, if teams sort of changed things up to be able to counteract some of the takes that I said, like the Timberwolves playing fast, if the Lakers switch it up, or if the Nuggets are able to step up their game to not tire out Jokić as much, so on. But again, with all that said, I'll see y'all in the next one. Go buy the merch. It's in the end card at the end of the video, and also link in the description for it, all that good stuff. Follow me on all my socials, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Nathan Burnett, episode 79.